sisters. We've all turned up the radio to hear Brother Jimmy Lakey, from coast to coast and shore to shore. Now raise your voice. Oh, let us all Jimmy Lakey, get out of bed. Jimmy Lakey, raise your voice. Jimmy Lakey, Lakey, hey, can't live without it with Jimmy Lakey. Jimmy Lakey.
All right, top of the morning to everybody. How's everybody doing out there? Good to have you here all across America. Notifications are sounding off on computers going, Lakey has unleashed and he's live. And here we are together. Good morning, everybody. Happy hump day. And God bless America. That's all I can say here today. God bless America. Well, how's everybody? Everybody's good. Everybody's happy there. We got a great question of the day to dive into here. A great guest, Laura Carno, is going to be on the show this morning. A lot of you are big fans of the Carno. She's going to be on today. I know some of you wait for her on Tuesday, but I have to tell you, Tuesday was not her day. She was busy and preoccupied. Actually, she was up too late the night before, and she's a very delicate flower, that Carno lady, and so she couldn't be up early for us because she was up late the night before. So she's here today, well rested and fired up and ready to go. So Carno on the show just a little bit later, and don't miss that. What else do we have? Rest in peace, Ozzy Osbourne. He passed away yesterday. Right after the show, the notification went out about an hour or so later that Ozzy had passed away at his home, I guess, in England, and not in L.A. I think he was still in the U.K., and he passed away at the age of 70-something years old. And Ozzy Osbourne, anybody remember Ozzy Osbourne? That was one of those groups that, or the artists that I probably was not allowed to listen to in middle school or so. I think Ozzy was a big deal. And I was not allowed to listen to Ozzy because you never know if you tune it in, the spirit of Beelzebub and Satan himself might come manifest and join you. So anyway, I do know Ozzy. Crazy Train is one of those great songs. As a stadium announcer for small peewee football teams, I have oftentimes pushed the button to play Crazy Train while the fourth graders play their football games. So I know Ozzy. I know Crazy Train. I think if you, though, threaten me, I don't think I could sing another Ozzy song, nor do I think I could sing a Black Sabbath song. I don't think so. And you know what bothered me was, am I like becoming an old guy? Too conservative, perhaps? I don't know. Maybe my Bible upbringing got to me, but I thought, there's on the screen, 76. I wanted to say 78, but he's 76 years of age. I kind of wondered what it's like to be a guy that self-proclaimed yourself as the Prince of Darkness when you show up at the pearly gates and you have that little judgment time, and it's my name in the book. I don't know. I felt bad. I of all the antics and all the character of who Ozzy Osbourne portrayed himself to be, I do know that in reality, when you get to the eternity, I don't believe that your on-stage persona really counts. So that's good. You know, Alice Cooper is a big time born again Christian evangelical type. He's his onstage persona superseded or at least ran parallel to his Christianity. He found faith many years ago. So I'm just telling you, I hope Ozzy did. I really did. But I don't know. I don't know when you're going to show up in. I just. On the way out, you know, when you know it's time, you're on the deathbed, you know the final breath is coming. I hope your first line is, I didn't mean that whole Prince of Darkness thing. That was a character. It was my stage name. I didn't really mean it. But Ozzy Osbourne, a little bit of a highlight. He was surrounded by his family, according to the statement that came out. Pretty well known, his biography. Got his start in Black Sabbath. He got fired. I didn't realize this till yesterday. He got fired from Black Sabbath in 1979. And so then he launched his massively successful solo career. And you know why he got fired from Black Sabbath? He got fired from Black Sabbath because he was doing drugs. And I'm like, well, what good rock and roll band's going to kick a guy out for doing drugs? But evidently he missed some concerts, just didn't show up. Stadiums, arenas full of people, and Ozzy wasn't there. So they fired him. Along the way, he bit off the head of a bat and of a pigeon. Snorted lines of ants, got arrested for peeing on the Alamo while wearing his wife's dress, also consumed massive amounts of mind-altering substances. I heard that he said that the bat was accidental. He thought it was a fake toy bat, and he bit into that someone threw on the stage, and doggone it, it was not good. Sold 100 million records. He's in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame 2 times. That's a big deal. Inducted as a member of Black Sabbath in 2006, and also as a solo artist. He made it there as a solo guy last year, so a rare entry 2 times into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. And he was also battling Parkinson's disease. I heard an interview that he had he said the last 5 years had been absolute hell. He did that a couple of years ago. And with Parkinson's, he also decided to have some kind of a surgery. And I watched the interview, and he says he wished he would have had that surgery because no one told him that he might have been better without the surgery. He said it was a misery. So anyway, rest in peace, Ozzy, and let it all be a reminder to all of us that none of us get off of this planet alive. And I would just make sure, if I were you, that you have that eternal thing worked out with the big guy upstairs. I'm not talking Joe Biden. I'm talking the big guy upstairs. And proclaiming yourself as the Prince of Darkness, that's kind of a scary line that I walk. But hey, it's between him and the good Lord at this point, and I'll let them sort it all out. Anyway, good to have all of you here on the show. Any Ozzy fans out there? The theme song for the Osbournes. I never watched an episode of the Osbournes, but I have a copy of it. Because there was a rumor that Pat Boone had sung the theme song, theme thong. Wow, that's what Delilah wears here on a daily basis, a theme thong. But no, a theme song for the, don't throw that at me. Delilah almost threw something. Well, she has a theme thong, so you just never know. The theme song for the Osbournes, a lot of folks thought it was Pat Boone that had decided to... It's my title today. Did producer Chad call my title the Podfather? I think I see that on the screen over there. The Podfather. It's the Godfather. Well, anyway, welcome. Glad to be the Podfather for everybody. Rest in peace, Ozzy Osbourne. Any Ozzy fans out there? A lot of folks thought, and Ozzy had perpetrated the myth, that it was Pat Boone who sang the theme song to the Osbournes, and it was not Pat Boone. Let me play this song. Does anybody know the story of this song? I want to play this for you and see if you recognize the song, and who do you think sang it? It's not Pat Boone. Ozzy had kind of alluded to being Pat Boone, but it was not. But I want you to listen to this song, and I did not know this until just about a half hour ago, that this is a song we should all know if you're an Ozzy fan. It's the theme song to the Osbournes.
Hey, but that's how it goes. Millions of people living as foes. Maybe it's not too late.
Yeah, it's a good song.
How to love and forget how to hate.
It was not
next door to Pat Boone, and I got to tell you, people think that Pat Boone's a nerd, and I must confess I was under that category for a while until I met him, and he really is. I mean, living next door to the Osbourne, brick.
So you almost have to have an interpreter to understand it, but he was spreading the rumor that this was a Pat Boone song. It's not a Pat Boone song. Pat Boone was not the artist. That's actually a cover of Crazy Train. The Ozzy Osbourne famed hit Crazy Train. That was the theme song, not sung by Pat Boone, but in the style of Pat Boone. And it was actually an artist by the name of Louis LaMedica. Louis LaMedica singing the theme song for the Osbournes, which premiered in 2002, ran into 2005, and Ozzy and Sharon ushered in celebrity life. It's really interesting to watch some of the interviews yesterday where Ozzy talked about his admiration for his wife, Sharon, and just his love for her patience with him, and knowing that he was a bat crap crazy mess, and she stuck with him all these years. But rest in peace, Ozzy. And I don't know how. One day we'll find out how it went over declaring yourself as the Prince of Darkness. Hopefully, just tell us a stage name, and everything else is good. That's all I would recommend to you. So, anyway, Ozzy and the Ozzy Osbourne show, the Osbourne Show, was the ushering in of family celebrity shows. So celebrity families became reality shows. That was the very first one. And again, I had no clue that the theme song of that was actually, that's Crazy Train. Yeah, that's how it goes. Yeah, but anybody else know that? That's a little fact and a tidbit of a nugget of information that I thought I'd share with you this morning because I can. Crazy Train was actually the opening song for the Osborne show, but it was performed by Louis LaMedica in a Pat Boone style, and that's why you probably did not know that. All right, let's dive into some news today. What do you say? It's the 23rd day of July, year of our Lord 2025. Wednesday, hump day, halfway till Friday. And again, we have Laura Carno coming on the program here in just a little bit. You don't want to miss that. What are you watching out there when you see this information about Tulsi Gabbard dropping more receipts on Barry Hussein Obama and the Obama administration? And she says she's got more paperwork coming. She's going to really come after them. Obama issued a rare statement yesterday, possibly feeling the heat, denying that he called them bizarre allegations that he was the ringleader in the Russiagate coup attempt that happened in the first Trump administration. Former President Barack Obama denied Donald Trump's, quote, bizarre allegations that he was the ringleader in a rare public statement Tuesday night. That would be last night. Trump said earlier on Tuesday that Obama was the Russiagate leader, calling for him to be criminally investigated amid new claims that members of his administration allegedly manufactured intelligence that prompted the Trump-Russia collusion narrative. Out of respect for the presidency, said Barry Hussein Obama with the permission of Big Mike. Out of the respect of the office of presidency, our office does not normally dignify the constant nonsense and misinformation flowing out of the White House with a response. Obama's spokesperson Patrick Rodenbush said in a statement, these claims are outrageous enough to merit a response. These bizarre allegations, says Barry Hussein Obama, are ridiculous and a weak attempt at distraction. Nothing in the document issued last week undercuts the widely accepted conclusion that Russia worked to influence the 2016 presidential election, but did not successfully manipulate any votes. So now, that was not what they said. Remember, the narrative was that Russia caused Donald Trump to get in the White House. Here he is, Barry Hussein Obama, sending his spokesboy out there to say, well, we know Russia was playing. They didn't mess up the votes now. So it's a little different story here. But the spokesboy for Barry Hussein Obama said these findings were affirmed in 2020 by a report in the bipartisan Senate Intelligence Committee. Again, when crimes are committed, I don't necessarily want the Senate Intelligence Committee doing the investigation of a crime committed. The same way I don't want the Government Accounting Office being the one that tells us who was the shooter and what happened on July the 13th in Butler, Pennsylvania last year. So it's always interesting that we have these investigatory committees that happen in a partisan rather than a nonpartisan judicial branch or justice branch. You have all of a sudden we're supposed to really believe that the Intelligence Committee, which is controlled by Republicans and Democrats, depending on who's in majority, it's that we're supposed to believe that their investigations are nonpartisan. Well, I don't believe that, and so I'd like to have this looked at by law enforcement, the Department of Justice, the FBI. Let's look at it, Barry. And I would not cite the bipartisan Senate Intelligence Committee as the end-all, be-all, and the final arbiter when it comes to the declassification of documents and the reclassification of the lies that were told about Russiagate. I would not count the Senate Intelligence Committee as your end game arbiter any more than I'm going to believe that the Government Accounting Office, the GAO, is the final arbiter when it comes to what happened July the 13th in Butler, Pennsylvania. So anyway, Gabbard now says that she has more documents. Gabbard says, keep talking, Barry. Keep flapping your lips, Barry. She says she has more documents out there ready to counteract and basically refute everything that Barry Hussein has said. So let's dive into that story here. Gabbard says to Newsmax yesterday that more documents will be released today that refute a statement that was issued last night by Barry Hussein Obama. They deny the alleged coup attempt against Donald Trump, but Tulsi Gabbard last night on a program called Rob Schmidt Tonight said days after announcing that they had provided the Justice Department with overwhelming evidence that Obama and his national security team laid the groundwork for a years-long Russia-connected coup against Donald Trump. The smoking gun, Gabbard argues, was December the 9th, 2016. A meeting at the White House with several top National Security Council principals, the result which created a new assessment per the president's request to detail the tools that Moscow used and the actions it took to influence the 2016 election. A spokesperson for Barry called the accusations outrageous. Gabbard said the statement will be refuted in coming hours. She heard what Barry Hussein said yesterday, and she says, we will be releasing further documents tomorrow that will refute his statement. And we will be pulling a whole host of statements that were made by the Obama administration, by Hillary Rodham Kankles Clinton, and by senior Democrat officials, by their friends, the media, the state, over and over again. This 2017 manufactured intelligence document was created that repeat the narrative that Russia aided Trump in the 2016 election. Tulsi Gabbard says, keep talking, Barry, because as you talk, I'm going to find the documents to refute what you say, and I will prove to America, anybody with open ears, that you are a lying Sacagawea. And doggone it, those documents are supposedly coming out today. More documents coming out on the Russiagate lies that were told by and evidently originated by Barry Hussein Obama himself. By the way, looking at the monitor myself, I see I look very pleasant this morning, and I also have on a blue shirt. Do anybody want to argue about the blueness of this shirt? It seems as if I walked into an establishment yesterday and our buddy Cody was there, and Cody looked at me and didn't say hello, didn't say hi. He said, well, that shirt's blue. That was the opening greeting. That shirt's blue. A lot of folks' controversy every day is whether my shirt is actually blue. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a blue shirt. I will hold it against the black coffee mug that I'm drinking from, and you will see we have many shades of blue here on the set, including the shirt that I wear. And by the way, behind the microphone is that logo, Rivers Promise, right there. So I've got a lot of blue shirts, and today is a Blue Shirt Wednesday. If you're not wearing a blue shirt, then you probably did not get the memo. You don't love Jesus, and you don't love America. So you should be wearing a blue shirt on Blue Shirt Wednesday. Producer Chad just says, you're lucky I'm wearing a shirt at all. And we're not sure Producer Chad's wearing pants. We're not real positive of that because he's behind the desk right now. And that's a good thing because at least he has his shirt on. At least Producer Chad has his shirt on today. All right, the Trump boom is underway. We can talk about that. We'll dive into that. Carrie Lake, anybody remember her? Big-time politician, ran for office in Arizona, did not win. But she was appointed to run the Voice of America, and she has released a bombshell that basically said America, well, I'll get to the story of it. It's just kind of interesting. China was really under Biden pushing, we need better coverage from Voice of America. And it seems like Voice of America might have been willing to be complicit. We'll dive into that story here in just a second as well. All right, I got a fun story. We like to have a question of the day. And the question of the day on today's show has nothing to do with political crap. It has to do with where's your favorite city in America. Not talking about the small town, the enclave, the community that you live in. I'm talking about the big city in America. They did a survey. They took the 50 most populated cities in America, the 50 most populated places in America, and they determined, said, hey, everybody, rank what is your favorite city, the 50 most populated city. Anybody want to guess what number one is? Would you like to guess on that? Delilah, do you have a guess there? In your themed phone that you have on? Delilah, no guess from Delilah, just a middle finger that I think she means I'm number one. She just held up the wrong finger. So yeah, the best city in America, your favorite city in America. Now, it used to be Denver was one of my favorite cities in America, but then the libtards took it over. Jared Polis, John Hickenlooper, these mayors and these governors and these senators in Colorado destroyed it. And downtown Denver is one of those places that on most nights you're going to need a poop map, and you probably need a security detail. And if you're a small business owner, they don't give a rat's ass about you. You got homeless encampments and poop right in front of your office. So Denver is not on the list. I have to tell you, Denver is not on the list as a favorite city in America. You know why? Because Jared Polis and Democrats have destroyed The beautiful city of Denver, which is just down the freeway for me. Normally, it would be a place that I would even maybe head down for lunch or a meeting. I didn't hesitate to go to downtown Denver. Now I avoid it at all costs. So your favorite city in America, which one is it? New survey reveals the 50 most populated cities in America, and which one people say is the most favorite. Any guesses? Your favorite city in America. You ready for this? It's Nashville. Nashville is the favorite city in the survey of the top 50 most populated cities in America. Nashville is followed by a three-way tie. There is a three-way tie for position 2. Nashville is the clear number 1 of the 50 most populated cities in America. The three-way tie goes between San Diego, Colorado Springs, Colorado, and Virginia Beach, Colorado. There we have it. We have balloons flying on the screen for no reason. I don't understand that. But ladies and gentlemen, San Diego, Colorado Springs, and Virginia Beach are number 2. Nashville is number 1. Coming in number 5 is Charlotte, North Carolina, followed by, Denver did make the list. Number 6, I was mistaken in that. Denver did make the list as a favorite city. Raleigh, North Carolina, number 7. San Antonio makes number 8. Detroit has the lowest favorability, followed by Oakland and Bakersfield, California, the top 50 cities in America. So I ask you this question: what is your favorite city in America? If you have to do a city vacation, or you have to go to a city, you have to walk in a city, eat in a city, live in a city, vacation in the city, where is your favorite city? Our lowest says one of my top of the head would be Branson, Missouri. If not, it's got to be Longview, Texas, where we live now. Probably not on the list as a top 50 cities in America. Those are great cities, great towns, but probably we're not on the ranking list because, again, the top 50 population centers, I doubt Branson's one of those, and I would doubt that Longview is one of those. The Tyler Longview area together, I don't think they are. Anyway, it's great places. I haven't been there a while. Scott says, I like Kansas City. Kansas City, Missouri, or Kansas City, Kansas. There's 2 different places, by the way. Scott says Kansas City is his favorite city in America. What say you? What's your favorite city in America? What's the reason for that, Scott? Would love to hear your reason for that. But Bridge would have sealed Denver in the top 10. If you put up, there's a survey in Denver about a bridge going across from the across one of the roads from the Capitol, and it's I think somebody, we had that bridge, it would really put them in the top 10. Well, Jeff, they don't have the bridge, and they ended up becoming number 6 on the list. Kona, Hawaii. Again, favorite city by Shyla. She says on Facebook, Kona, Hawaii. And again, I doubt that Kona was on the list because Kona is probably not one of the top 50 cities in America. Notice nobody has said Los Angeles. No one has said San Francisco. And no one has said New York City is one of the favorite cities in America. Been to New York City many times. Been to California, San Francisco, the Bay Area, lived there for a while, and also to Los Angeles. And I have to say that not necessarily. I like San Francisco. It's a beautiful place. But by the time I got out of it, the homeless and the poop had taken over, and I'm not going to do that. RJ says Williamsburg, Virginia, and Colorado Springs. Now, Colorado Springs tied for number 2 as a favorite city in America. Not sure if Williamsburg, Virginia makes it in the top 50 list of population, but good to know. Never have been to Williamsburg. Maybe I'll have to check that out there. Scott says the reason he likes Kansas City is there's lots of great barbecue there. Listen, Scott, if you want to find great barbecue, I hate to break the news to you people in the Midwest. Kansas is not the place you go, or Missouri is not the place you go to find great barbecue. If you want to find a great city with great BBQ, you head down to the great state of Texas, the motherland, and that's where the real barbecue is at. This Kansas City barbecue, screw it. This Memphis barbecue, screw it. It's Texas barbecue, cooked and smoked with that mesquite wood that is very unique. And I hate to break the news of those of you in Tennessee or Kansas City, but I don't go barbecue shopping in your towns or in your cities. If I want real barbecue like real men and actually Jesus himself would eat, I would go to the great state of Texas, the motherland. That's where you're going to get great barbecue, Scott. That's where Jesus eats his barbecue. I know there was a long guy with long hair and a beard, and he was eating barbecue when I was there a couple of weeks ago, and I think it was Jesus, so he was there. Rich says St. Louis, Missouri. Due to the museums, the parks, the zoos, that are no cost. Love to visit. I don't want to live there. Rich, my son goes to school in Missouri, and I had driven through Missouri, usually on a musical tour bus when I was managing bands and artists. I had ridden and traveled through St. Louis, never spent much time downtown. Didn't spend much time when I dropped my son off at college, but we did go to the Arch for the first time. I never knew the history of the Kansas City Gateway Arch, the St. Louis Gateway Arch. I never knew the history of it, the building, how it was awarded. It's a really cool museum. If you haven't done the Gateway Arch, I would recommend it. The ride up is kind of unique. If you put on too many pounds, you're not going to fit in the car and never make it to the top. So some of you, and including myself, you might want to trim down a few pounds, but to ride up to the top of the arch was quite fascinating. And I didn't spend a lot of other time downtown. We ate at a couple of restaurants there, and I didn't spend a lot of time. There was a baseball game happening that night. People were filling in the city for the baseball. But St. Louis seemed like a cool place. I hear it's crime-riddled. I hear it's a dangerous place around St. Louis. Maybe that's not. Maybe that's Ferguson, right? Ferguson's a suburb of them. So I don't know. RJ says Gatlinburg, Tennessee. Again, probably not a top 50 population spot. I mean, and I like Gatlinburg. I was there when I was a child. I have a good memory of it. But I have to tell you that probably these tourist towns are not top 50 populations, and there's a reason that they're your top cities in America. The survey was about the top most populated cities in America. Which one is your favorite? And in Nashville, Tennessee comes into one. I used to spend a lot of time in Nashville back when we were building the Lakey Entertainment Company, building the Lakey Entertainment Towers, and all the things that I did in the entertainment industry back in the day. Several times a year, I was in Las Vegas and hanging out there. I like Nashville. It's one of those places that I've contemplated. Maybe that should be where I move one day to move into the retirement years or what have. I don't know if I'll ever move there, but that's where In-N-Out's moving. In-N-Out's not moving to Nashville. They're moving to one of the suburbs called Franklin. We talked about that story yesterday. In-N-Out moving from California because why? California hasn't become a cesspool ruled by libtards, and they've destroyed the entire state. And so Nashville is where, or Franklin, Tennessee is where In-N-Out says we are out of here. Anyway, keep them coming. Love to hear from you. Gatlinburg, not been there in a long time. Nashville, been a few years as well. Now that I'm not in the entertainment and music industry as much as I used to be, but glad to have you here. Jeff says, politics and trash aside, Boston was pretty awesome for the history. See, that goes a long ways. History is, if there's a great history and just the antiquity of a city, I love it. One of my favorite places is London, but I didn't realize this until I was on a tour that London is not where most of us go. When most of us fly to the United Kingdom, we fly into Heathrow, and London is a very small part of the area. The Westminster is where most of us hang out at. I didn't know that. I thought London was the entire population. The area is called London, but the actual proper London is not. There's a metro area that surrounds it. The actual town of London or city of London is actually very smart. Arloa says Williamsburg is our daughter's favorite. Very historical. I like history. I've not been to Williamsburg. I haven't spent a lot of time doing that tour up there, but maybe I should up there. But again, Scott, I want you to get your heart right with Jesus. If you're traveling to Kansas City looking for barbecue, you're looking the wrong direction, sir. Go south, young man. Head to the Dallas area, San Antonio, the Hill Country, all those areas. That's where real men and Jesus himself eat their barbecue. Don't forget it. You ready? All right. What else do we have? Favorite city in America? That's your question of the day. Good to have you here. Obama's denying being the coup leader, trying to take down Trump. And Tulsi Gabbard says, keep flapping your jaws, Barry. Barry, keep talking. I got documents that are going to prove that you are nothing but a lying Sacagawea. And so those documents are coming out today, said Tulsi Gabbard. The House has paused. You hear this? House has said, everybody go home. The House of Representatives has dismissed and adjourned and said, everybody take your fall break. You know why? It's Jeffrey Epstein's fault. Jeffrey Epstein, that House did not adjourn itself. Jeffrey Epstein did it. The House fled a day early. Here's a story. Speaker Mike Johnson dismissed everybody and said, everybody go home. House Republican leaders have canceled Thursday's legislative session, deciding instead to recess after wrapping up business on Wednesday. So today's the last day, according to Axios. The House of Representatives was originally scheduled to wrap up business on Thursday before heading out for a 5-week August recess. But following disruptions within the GOP over how to handle the Epstein documents and Thomas Massey's discharge petition, leadership decided to flee town a day early, canceling a Thursday session entirely. The chamber is not expected to return until September. According to Axios, Thomas Massey from Kentucky now has over 10 Republican signatures, enough to bypass the speaker and bring the measure to a vote. So what happened is Thomas Massey of Kentucky said, we want to get rid of Speaker Mike Johnson. Here's a discharge petition, and he's got 10 Republicans that want to get rid. It can be recalled that Massey joined forces with Ro Khanna, Democrat in California, on a discharge petition aimed at compelling a full House vote, releasing classified Jeffrey Epstein documents. If the executive branch won't release phase 2 of the Epstein files, we will. Americans deserve transparency and victims deserve justice. Author and commentator Mike Cernovich blasted the move, said, why didn't he do this during the Biden regime? Total stunt queen with deep resentment for Trump, and he's insulting our intelligence. So Thomas Massey says, I want a discharge. I want all these documents to be released. Thomas Massey, it's probably an accurate definition. He's a stunt queen. He never seemed to be all that hot and bothered about the Epstein files until now. And now he's deserving transparency. And Thomas Massey's a Republican, usually a pretty decent Republican. But come on, Thomas, you act as if your panties are in a bunch and you've got some kind of a sand in your craw there because of these documents not being released. And yet, where were you the last 4 years under Joseph Rubilad Poopy Pants Biden? Where were you then declaring and demanding this transparency? So I think it's probably actually a good definition, a stunt queen. Thomas, the stunt queen Massey. I think that's probably fair because, again, everybody acting all hot and bothered to have the vapors over the Epstein files now probably should look at their heart and realize that they were quiet all the years of Joe Biden's administration. And so do you really care about these documents as much, or are you just trying to get some headline, or you just have some resentment for Donald Trump? Thomas Massey, I think you owe America a little answer on that. But the House of Representatives did not want to deal with this today, did not want to deal with it tomorrow, and they've dismissed and said, everybody go home after today. We're going to adjourn for the August break, and everybody's going to take a little breather, and we'll come back in September. So in one sense, you want these jack wagons to stay in D.C. and get some work done. On the other sense, you have to say, wow, they're out of town. We're a little bit safer now for freedom to prevail in America. All right, good to have all of you here. Your favorite city in America. Jeff says Honolulu, very busy and crowded, but Pearl Harbor was worth the experience. Took my son and a bunch of his buddies a couple of years ago over Christmas break out to Honolulu. I wanted to go to Maui. I've done that part of Hawaii. I wanted to go to a different island, but I insisted that we have to go to Oahu and go to Honolulu because they needed to experience the Pearl Harbor experience, and they did. So I've been to Pearl Harbor one too many times. Not one too many times. I liked it. I enjoyed it. But I flew out to Hawaii thinking, I want to go to Maui. And I said, no, I can't. I've got to take the boys, my son and his friends. I got to take them. If they're going to go to Hawaii, their entry point has to be Oahu, and they have to go to Honolulu. We stayed there on the beach. And it's a great place. I like Honolulu. It's bat crap crazy. Very, very liberal out there. Jim says Miami South Beach in small doses before a cruise. Oh, there's a lot of great cities in Florida. I like those things. So your favorite city in America? According to surveys, Nashville is number one. What say you? Ladies and gentlemen, she's usually with us on a Tuesday, but now she's with us on a Wednesday because she was up past her bedtime on Monday. And ladies and gentlemen, she has to be pampered. She's a delicate flower. It's Miss Laura Carno hopping in the studio. It's Carno Wednesday. How are you, Miss Carno?
So let's be clear on one thing, Jimmy, is when you were on terrestrial radio and nobody saw my face early in the morning, it didn't matter how long I stayed up. But if I've got to look halfway presentable for a lady of my age, it takes some time.
Listen, when you're 33 years old, Laura, you look fantastic all the time. That was just fantastic.
I wish.
Yeah. A delicate flower. For those who don't know, you were doing geeky things, nothing exciting up late. You were at a Colorado Republican Central Committee meeting. And when you texted me that, I said, that sounds horrible. I think was my exact words. How did it go, Laura?
Yeah. So it was on Zoom, first of all. So I didn't have to go somewhere, but it didn't start until 7:30, and there was the vice chair election because there was a vacancy in the vice chair position. And then there was a bunch of other procedural stuff and resolutions and different things. So it took until like 10:20, but for somebody who wants to be like dead asleep by 9:00, because my body clock wakes me up between 4 and 4:30 every morning, regardless of how late I got to bed. So
I have not yet figured out my sleep schedule. My body clock is still a decade or so programmed for talk radio. And so my body clock still wakes me up early. So I've been trying my best to stay up really late. And that's not working out real well for me, because what happens, I'm trying to stay up and I'm reading and I'm watching a show or something. Just I got to stay up. I got to get my body clock set. But what happens is I usually will watch it if my son's not home, because I have different television watching in the house. I go to my cigar room and maybe I have a cigar because it's ventilated. I hang out in there. It's nice and cozy, much of a library feel, high back leather chairs. I hang out of there. And I try to stay up, Laura, and then I become the old guy. I start falling asleep in my chair. I'm like, damn it. I'm trying to stay awake, and I'm dozing off in the chair. And I might have won once or twice waking up to a fallen cigar that was lit up, and I jump up and the adrenaline goes. So I'm not having luck with this body clock thing. I'm not.
Understood.
All right, Laura Carno. Well, glad you did geeky things for America and for the Republican Party. The Republican Party in Colorado has been a mess. We hope you got it all worked out just on that night. You got it all worked out right then.
Sure. I used my 1 out of 406 votes. And it's sort of like being a member of Congress. You get 1 vote.
Unless you're from Chicago, you get a couple of them. You got to remember that. All right,
if you've died. Yeah.
Let's dive into a couple of these topics here. We have this Epstein thing that just won't die. The House of Representatives says, we're out of here. Thomas Massie has a discharge petition. Say, show us the documents. And they say, no, we got to go home. So they dismissed early in Washington, D.C. Yesterday, the Justice Department announced that they're going to send somebody in to meet with Ghislaine Maxwell and see if she would like to talk. Give me your thoughts. Ghislaine, is she going to be the key here? Is she the linchpin that's going to tell all about Epstein?
Well, if you want to be a yes on that, then you would need to believe that she was protecting Epstein, other people, other powerful people, whatever, when she got sentenced to prison and didn't sing like a canary, and that something has changed, and now she's all about outing people. So that those things could be possible. She could have been in protective mode, but now that she's been in prison for a bit, and it's a life sentence. It's 20 years, but she's over 60 somewhere, so that's effectively a life sentence. But did somebody tick her off that now she's going to give some information? But if you're going to give information in order to get yourself out of prison, you better have the receipts. Nobody's going to just take your word for it. So that'll be interesting. I think let's just go back. You and I have talked about this a few times. The left is now saying, well, Trump and Johnson, they don't want it out because Trump is implicated. If anybody believes that if there were receipts on Trump, that they wouldn't have come out in the election, that's the only thing that makes me think there's not a lot left there. But who knows? I think the big deal is Trump needs this off of the headlines, because he's doing a new good thing every day. And as long as everybody's talking about Jeffrey Epstein, that's going to just continue to dominate. So for the political reasons, they've got to just get it out there. If releasing more files, if talking to Ghislaine Maxwell, if all of those things are going to get it off of the front page, that's what they need to do, not only because it's good to be transparent, but it's also, we've got to get this off of the headlines. So I think that's what's going on. And one thing that's interesting, you mentioned Ro Khanna, who's, probably going to run for president, wants to get his name out there. The interesting one to me, Jimmy, is Marjorie Taylor Greene is kind of joining forces on that Thomas Massie Ro Khanna side, and saying, we've got to get these things out there, contrary to her president. And not very many legislators, members of Congress or the Senate, have been as connected at the hip to Donald Trump and the MAGA movement than Marjorie Taylor Greene. So it's very curious, and it kind of makes me wonder, okay, what is the MAGA movement after Trump, and who's going to seize the reins, so to speak, if it's not another Trump? And are people positioning themselves to be more Trumpy than Trump, more MAGA than Trump? Just kind of interesting. I think that's something to watch.
It's fascinating that all of this, the fact that Epstein's still in the news this week and last week and the week before, the Trump administration and Pam Bondi have no one to blame but themselves. And some people thought they were playing 3D chess or 4D chess. But the fact that they said, oh, there's nothing to see here, there's no files. And now they're like, well, let's release the testimony. I mean, this was a real big screw up on the PR front by, I'd say Trump, or at least by Pam Bondi, declaring there's nothing to see here. And now we know there is something to see here. How bad did they screw that up? You've advised candidates before and people. They didn't handle this very well, did they?
No, I mean, it's sort of like the release the Kraken, and the Kraken never was released. You can't dangle bait in front of people when there's nothing there. And so either she thought something was there and prematurely said that something was there when it wasn't there, or she knew that nothing was there but was trying to find something. Either way, at a cabinet level position, that's really inexcusable. And I know that there's a split in the MAGA movement, so to speak, of, Trump should get rid of her. She's not Trumpy enough, versus, she's Trump's person, she should stay. So yeah, that's an interesting one. But I lay the blame at her feet.
Let's dive into another topic. We played the audio yesterday, offended the sensibilities of many of our very puritanical listeners yesterday. We played the audio of the Hunter Biden interview, and the only time I've heard almost that many curse words or F-bombs is when I have a conversation with producer Chad. Other than that, it's hard to fit that many F-bombs into a sentence, but Hunter Biden did a great job. I thought it was kind of disgusting. You think of all the presidential children that have been out there, and, from the Bush children to the Obama kids to all these people, this F-bomb disaster by Hunter Biden. What does it tell us about Hunter? What does it tell us about the Biden family? What does it tell us about so many things? It was disturbing.
Right. Yeah. Zero decorum. The only thing about all the F-bombs is that it appears that he managed to use them in every single part of speech. So he was very diverse in his use of the F-bomb.
I have a noun, I have a verb, I have an adverb.
Exactly. So there's a couple interesting things. So this was a 3-hour long interview. And I don't think that Hunter Biden would be giving any interviews, much less a 3-hour long interview, without the blessing of Joe Biden, to the extent that he's paying attention or capable, or Jill Biden or any of those folks. So I looked at it as this was all done with the blessing of the Biden family. And he spilled some beans. There are a number of clips that are making their rounds on social media, but he spilled the beans on some people like Nancy Pelosi, and that she's the one who wanted her father out, or his father out, but she did not want Kamala Harris. And so I say this comes directly from the rest of the Biden family. If Hunter is the one saying it, but there was a clip. I don't know if you heard this one, but he was saying that crack cocaine is actually healthier for you than alcohol.
I saw that.
Yeah. And you listen to his justification, you're like, man, you got a problem, buddy, when you are justifying that crack cocaine is a clean drug and almost intimating that it's good for you. But it was almost like Hunter Biden was like the id of that part of the Democratic Party, that he was saying all the quiet part out loud, zero filter, just saying this stuff. So I just think that, that part of the Democratic Party is like, you know what? Pelosi, dead to me. Obama's dead to me. We're just going to spill the beans.
It's fascinating that to watch this unfold, because the Democrats have done very good, especially when Nancy was their leader. They would all march lockstep in line, and they didn't go off the reservation that often. And now we're watching the Democrat Party kind of the wheels are coming off the bus, and it's fascinating to watch. Usually, this type of dysfunction is something I reserve for observing when I observe Republicans. And it's interesting to watch the Democrats. Again, the wheels coming off the bus here. It's usually them.
Yeah. Usually it's us, and we've got our face in our hands and shaking our heads and going, "Oh my gosh, what's going on?" But yeah, maybe producer Chad can pop us some popcorn while we watch the Democrats do what the Republicans usually do. But I'm here for it. I'm going to tune into every single piece of it because they are really demonstrating who they are. And between that type of an interview and oh shoot, what's his name? Jim. What's that guy's name? The old guy that's married to the Republican.
Carville, James Carville.
James Carville. Sorry, I lost his name for a second. He's kind of out there saying what needs to be said. Every so often they rein him back in. He's like, I didn't really mean that. But he's kind of fun to watch too, because he says the quiet part out loud, the stuff that needs to be said, but most people under that sort of shut your mouth Nancy Pelosi kind of regime usually don't say.
It's fascinating also to watch this Hunter Biden go out as a spokesperson because you went through a whole week last week and last 2 weeks really, people going before the House Oversight Committee with James Comer, and everyone's pleading the fifth. Defend Joe Biden. Tell us he was of right mind. And I plead the fifth. I have nothing to say under advice of counsel. No one's been defending Joe Biden. Even his own staffers are pleading the fifth about his mental ability. And here you have the drug-riddled Hunter Biden, he put aside the cocaine, the whores, long enough to go out and do a 3-hour interview. And I don't know if you saw, I think that was Napoleon Dynamite doing the interview. It looked like
yeah, I'd not heard of the dude before, but yeah, good.
Yeah, he looked like Napoleon Dynamite. I said, "Oh, great, a career bounce back. That's good to see." But nobody would defend Joe. I mean, even his own staffers. And I wondered if that's why Dr. Jill and Poopy Pants Joe sent Hunter. Nobody's defending our honor. You've got to be the one to climb the water tower and use that spray paint can to clean up the things you're saying about us. It's fascinating. No one defended Joe's honor. Under oath, no one would say anything. So they had to send old Hunter out. I thought it was weird.
Right. Yeah. And Hunter said that the reason he performed so poorly in the debate was that he was on Ambien, and Greg Gutfeld last night said, yeah, because that's what Joe Biden needed, was more naps.
More naps. If you watch that interview again, if you want to put yourself through the F-bombs for a couple of hours, I pointed this out. Not only was the interview conducted by Napoleon Dynamite, he's sitting there doing the interview. I'm thinking that grassy knoll that's behind him, I'm thinking they just pulled some chairs out of the rehab center and sat out on the lawn, and I'm waiting for the guy in the lab coat to come walking across going, "Mr. Biden, it's time to go back. You got a therapy session here."
Yeah.
It was like a hospital.
Very, very good point. I thought it was an odd setting, and now that you say that you're exactly right. That's what it looked like. That's why it felt so odd.
I think it might have been a Betty Ford or something. I don't know where they go, but I think it could have been possible. All right, you sent me a story about a boondoggle. They're wasting our money. Supposedly, we're supposed to spend a lot of money to get EV charging stations, and a lot of wasted money going on out there. We should doge this.
Yeah. So, that all of the other administrations, including the Biden administration, wanted to just green the heck out of everything. And EV cars and EV charging stations were going to be, the next best thing. They spent $7.5 billion, billion with a B, on 400 charging stations. And if I did my Excel math correctly, that's like 18 million per charging station. And a person's got to wonder, could they have gotten a better deal? But all of these boondoggles, just like you've probably seen the stories about all the money sent in Los Angeles fire relief that they all went to these NGOs that then get spent on a bunch of crap. And that's what happened here. And that's why we have to get the government out of things that should be commercial enterprises. If you want to put EV stations in somewhere, go put EV stations in. That you risk your capital, you put it in there, you're hoping that you get some money back from it. These are commercial enterprises. They should not be government enterprises. They're all boondoggles, all of them. So, but you paid $18 million a piece for 400 EV charging stations. And I should tell you something funny. We were driving out to California a couple of years back, and we stayed overnight at a hotel in western Wyoming, almost into Utah. And there were EV charging stations there, and it's along I-80. I forget the town, but they were all empty. But it's like, if you're staying off the interstate in Wyoming at a hotel and you have an electric car, you're not going a whole day's worth.
Yeah.
Tomorrow, you're not going to make it to South Dakota. So maybe some of those 400 were at this hotel in Wyoming that nobody was using. So if you're looking at how much you paid for useful EV charging stations that other people can use for free,
I don't have the information, but the EV charging stations. Another one is, I hope they're canceling the order, is they were supposed to turn all of our postal vehicles, the postal service, all of those vehicles were supposed to become EV. And I think they've done like 2 or 14 or something, billions of dollars set aside, and it's just never happening.
Yeah. And as Kamala said, who doesn't love an electric school bus? So.
Kamala rode the very short bus. I hope she had a helmet and didn't lick the windows too much. That's my thought on Kamala Harris. All right, I got to ask you, Laura. Surveys out there that top 50 populated cities, and people rank their top city in America. Do you have a favorite city? Colorado Springs is on the list, tied for number 2. You have a favorite city?
Yeah, we lived in the Colorado Springs area for quite a while, and it is a lovely city right at the base of Pikes Peak. It's beautiful. It has really changed over the years. It's very dense now. The traffic is terrible. I still go down there for a few things, and I'm okay that we don't live there anymore. I don't know if I've changed or cities have changed, but I'm every year that passes, I'm happier with more and more property and space between me and other people. So, but when there's some really great ones. Nashville's a great city. I enjoyed Indianapolis. There was an NRA annual meeting back many years ago that I attended there, and the downtown is really vibrant with restaurants and clubs and stuff. And they have a minor league ballpark right in the downtown. And so I went with a couple of Second Amendment journalists, Cam Edwards and Charles C.W. Cook, and we went to a minor league ball game. Just right there in the downtown. So there's a really, really well set up for like conventions and being able to walk around, kind of like Nashville is. That there, within walking distance, there's really a lot to see. So it's really good for visitors. As far as a place to live, I'm pretty happy with my Albert County, Colorado, but it didn't make the
nonetheless,
population
it's like you and Bill live there. That's it. There's no neighbors out there. Indianapolis, I've been a while since I've been there, but it's fascinating because in the cold months they have indoor sidewalks. I mean, so all the you can go around downtown and you don't have to step out into that brisk Indianapolis air. Another reason I need to go back to Indianapolis, they have a Burn Lounge, which is a cigar bar started by Rocky Patel. The first one is in Naples. Indianapolis is one of the places for a burn. So I will give Indianapolis a vote just because of the cigar world.
Yeah, I went to a cigar bar there. I'm
so proud of you.
With some folks I was traveling with. I did not bought my own cigars, partook of everybody else's. But I'm
so proud of you.
Tom Selleck was there because he's an NRA board member. And So I mean, I didn't talk to him or anything, but
You're
I saw him.
It was like, the Burn. There's a lot of the Burn's. Very nice bar lounge. Anyway, Laura Carno, it is a pleasure out there. I notice your shirt. You're advertising your tomatoes out there.
Tomato Whisperer.
Tomato Whisperer. That's good to know. Yes. How many, now usually if you weren't in the transitional part of moving and relocating, how many varieties of tomatoes would you normally have? And how many do you have now because of the whole transition and living out of a suitcase?
And living out of the shop, clearly. Typically we would have 40 to 45 different varieties, maybe 80 to 100 plants. And this year we have 13 tomato plants. That's it. And I only grew the stuff that I have no more seeds left for, so that I can save seeds from this year's tomatoes and plant out more fully next year. Yeah.
The Tomato Whisperer. So when you're done here, it looks like, are you going to be welding in the shop behind you, or are you going to head out and pick the weeds out of your tomato plants? What's your choice?
I'm actually going to go to a county commissioner meeting because there's some stuff on the calendar that I want to hear.
You do some of the geekiest things.
I'm so nerdy. Yeah, I also occasionally have C-SPAN on my TV in the background while I'm
wow. So imagine there's nobody else in the audience right now said, well, I've got to get rid of Lakey here to be done because I got to get to that county commissioners meeting. Nobody does that.
I know.
I've never had anybody say, I've got to be up for the Central Committee meeting for the Republican Party. You just do some of the geekiest things.
That's the true story. And I love tomatoes too, if you want to put that in my geeky column.
And I don't see any cats behind you. Where are the cats at?
I'm sleeping. It's kind of cold today. And so they all, any cat owners out there knows that when it's cold, they just want a fort.
There you go. Laura Carno, fastercolorado.org, fastercolorado.org. Folks want to throw a couple of pennies or a lot of pennies to you. You'd appreciate that. Helping keep school kids safe in Colorado. Fastercolorado.org if you're not familiar. Go check out the website. All right, Laura, get out of here. You got to go to the county commissioner meeting. And exciting, isn't it? Where you're in Elbert County? Where's the county commissioners meet? Do they meet in Elbert, or where do they meet?
The county seat is Kiowa, and there are no stoplights in Kiowa, and that's where our county seat is.
The county seat is in Kiowa. Are you going to be the only person in the audience in this county commission meeting?
No. There's kind of some spicy. There's kind of some spicy things going on about should we have a pause or a moratorium on building. So it's going to be kind of spicy.
Spicy. All right. Well, you keep us posted. You are a lady on the streets when it comes to Kiowa, Colorado, and the Elbert County Commission. So if we don't get it from you, we're not going to believe it.
Okay, well, I'm sure there will be a big update for next week.
Laura's going to be out in front of the county commission building with a microphone here in a few minutes. On the scene, reporting live from Kiowa. It's going to be great. Laura Carno, see you soon. fastercolorado.org. On the streets of Kiowa, Colorado, I'm the only person on the street. We're even lucky there is a street. Kiowa. I know where Kiowa's at. I have no clue, but it's in Elbert County. All right, good to have all of you here on the program. Brian Maloney is standing me up. Brian Maloney is the guy that is the proliferator of Red Wave America and the Media Equalizer. And we use his pages for this streamcast, his podcast, to go out across America. And we appreciate his access to the page. He was supposed to join us. He's in the Senate office buildings this morning. I'm not sure what he's doing. He said he would join us, and then he started saying, hey, can you just call me for the hit? I can't get my Wi-Fi to work. And I'm like, Brian, you do realize we're using an app called, do you ever hear us go to the phone? You've got to get it on the app. We can't just pot up a phone here. This is not how this app works. So you've got to dial in on the interweb. Then you can do voice only, but we can't do anything beyond that. So Brian Maloney standing us up, betraying his trust by getting on the schedule, but I forgive him. And for his exile and his punishment, he may be sent to cover the county commissioners in Elbert County, Colorado as well, in Kiowa. He may be sent out there to do that. I didn't realize this. I told my sister that she was a liar. And I guess I was wrong. I was mistaken. I was a liar. Yesterday, I had no clue that we did not do the meme roulette. The meme roulette, very popular part of this program. Everybody likes the stolen meme section of the show. And I thought we did it. I just wrapped up the show and adios amigo. And I got a text from my sister. She goes, you didn't do memes today. And I said, what the hell are you talking about? I do memes every day. I do memes. I sent producer Chad 7 memes yesterday. And I said, producer Chad, in the pre-show meeting, I said, we have 1 meme for every day of the week here, 7 memes. And I guess I didn't do the memes yesterday. So a lot of you have built up anticipation, and a lot of you have meme tension. You missed the memes yesterday, and I apologize. I did not do memes yesterday. And only this morning, I said, producer Chad, did we do memes yesterday? He said, I've loaded up the memes we didn't get to yesterday. And I said, what do you mean we didn't get to memes yesterday? The stolen meme section. He goes, no, you didn't get to memes. He goes, you bailed out of there. I thought you had to go to the bathroom or something. That's what he thought. So, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to prepare our hearts now for the stolen meme section of the show. And love to hear from all of you on your favorite city out there. Feel free to jump into that topic of conversation. Nashville is leading in the poll of the favorite cities in America. All right, here we go, my friends. Let's dive into this. Let's do the meme roulette. Should we do that? I think we shall. Ladies and gentlemen, round and round the globe we go. Where we steal the memes from, no one knows. There you go. See that person right there? That's actually woman folk. And after floundering in her role to reach out to the male voting demographic for 3 months and wasting $20 million, the DNC has removed Olivia Giuliana for her role as a male youth outreach coordinator. That's true. That is Olivia Giuliani, and that's the person that they had hired, Giuliani. They had hired as the coordinator to help the Democrats reach male voters, and evidently it was not a good experiment. And Olivia, in all of her radiant glory and beauty, boy, can she cook. I'm assuming the pronouns. I'm probably misgendering. I don't know. But Olivia is no longer working for the DNC, and there you have it. Olivia, hi. Round and around the globe we go. Look more like an Oliver. Round and around the globe we go, where we steal the memes from, no one knows. My kids asked me what games I used to play on the iPad as a kid. I told them, are you kidding? I used to speak into a fan to sound like a robot. Yeah, that's true. All these kids got these fancy games all the time. My kids asked what games I used to play on the iPad, and I told them I used to speak into a fan to sound like a robot. True that. Been there, done that. Round around the globe we go, where we steal the memes from, no one knows. You can't unsee this now. Look at that image. You got to see the image. If you're on the podcast purpose of the show, you won't get it. But there's Gavin Newsom and Joe Biden, and there's Gavin Newsom and Joe Biden. You cannot unsee this now, my friends. You just can't unsee it. It's right there for all of you to see in living color. Round around the globe we go, where we steal the memes from, no one knows. At this rate, the only ones not involved in the Russia-Trump collusion were Russia and Trump. That's true. Russia. Trump. Now, the only people not involved in the Russia-Trump collusion game were Russia and Trump. But Barry Hussein Obama was knee-deep in that, wasn't he? Yes, he was. Round around the globe we go, where we steal the memes from, no one knows. For all of you people who wore a mask while driving alone during the Booger Cootie virus, I would like to give you the new outdoor seat belt. It is available now. For all those people who wore a mask while driving alone, the new outdoor seat belt is available, and we should make those available on the show for all the libtards out there and Fauci lovers that would like to purchase one. We could make some money. I think we could. Here we go. Round around the globe we go, where we steal the memes from, no one knows. It's from the Babylon Bee. We steal it. Hunter Biden warns that without illegal immigrants, the price of prostitutes and crack is going to skyrocket. If the price of crack and whores keep going up for Hunter, he's going to be smoking Parmesan cheese again. That's what he did the last time because he was so screwed up. And, if the price goes up, Hunter, you can always smoke the Parmesan. Never tried it, but I guess you could. Round around the globe we go, where we steal the memes from, no one knows. The Shady Bunch. How did Samantha Power make all that money? All those folks, Susan Rice, looks like the Brady Bunch, but it's not. It's Susan Rice, Valerie Jarrett, James Clapper, James Comey, Barack Hussein Obama, Ben Rhodes, John Brennan, all those people. That's not the Brady Bunch, my friends. That's the Shady Bunch, and don't they all look good in orange? They actually look pretty good. And notice where we stole that meme from. Donald J. Trump The real Donald Trump tweeted that out or Instagrammed or sent that out. And good for Donald J. Trump, because that is the shady bunch. And Barry Hussein Obama right in the middle of all of it. Round around the globe we go. Where we steal the memes from, no one knows. Ladies and gentlemen, we have milked the meme machine dry. And with that, I want to remind you about Sherry Cree, homeswithsherry.com. You're looking to make a real estate move, a real estate transaction. Maybe you're buying, maybe you're selling. Maybe you just want to kind of talk it through, get a strategy together because you think either this year, next year, sometime. You just kind of get a game plan ahead. Listen, real estate is something that can create generational wealth. It's not just the house that you're living in and the yard that you're having cookouts in. It's really something, a tool to create generational wealth. And that's how Sherry Cree approaches every one of her clients. She wants you to understand the ability to create generational wealth, make the right move to the right neighborhood, get the right pricing, get the right staging, all that stuff. You're going to be able to accelerate the creation of generational wealth. And she also wants you to just make the right decision. She spends every moment of that relationship trying her best and doing all that she knows to do to serve you, your needs, make your dreams come true. And she wants to earn the right to become your realtor for life. For her, this is not a one-time relationship. This is something she wants to be part of your family as far as helping you with all your real estate. Later on, you want to upsize, downsize, get a rental property. Maybe you're moving, you change school districts, trying to just figure out the interest rate, have a discussion about that. All these things. Sherry Cree is the one that can help you walk through that process. Homeswithsherry.com, homeswithsherry.com. If you're a military person, first responder, a veteran, reach out to her. She's going to take a cut off her commissions to make it more affordable for you. And everybody under the sound of my dulcet tones, if she sells a home or she makes a commission, she'll donate a portion of her commissions to the charity of your choice. Sherry's been to Rwanda with me. She was there for the ribbon cutting of our Legacy Christian Academy, and she wants to be there for you to buy, to sell, and do real estate transactions. Homeswithsherry.com. If you're on that I-25 corridor in Colorado, let's say Fort Collins down to Denver, the Denver metro area, she can help you out. And by the way, if there's an area somewhere in Colorado or even out of state that you say, man, I'm moving to Alaska and I sure would like, I don't know who to call in Alaska. Sherry will help you. She has a referral service that she offers to you complimentary, and she'll help you with that as well. So homeswithsherry.com, proud supporter of this program. And I'm proud to say that we recommend her for you. Homeswithsherry.com, homeswithsherry.com. You're down in Aurora. You want to avoid the Tren de Aragua? She can help you do that. You're in Denver. You want to avoid the poop trail? She can help you do that. Littleton, she can help you. Broomfield, she can help you. Boulder, Fort Collins, Fort Lupton. You get the idea. Homeswithsherry.com, homeswithsherry.com. And be sure to tell her that Jimmy Lakey is talking about her on the program, homeswithsherry.com. All right, here we go, my friends. It's almost time to wrap up today's program, and I appreciate you being on it. Today's a Wednesday edition of the show. And again, rest in peace, Ozzy Osbourne. Is there anybody else? I think I'm the only guy that was troubled with the Ozzy Osbourne's passing, going, I don't know how you make it up to to pearly gates and say, hello, the Prince of Darkness is here. I hope he explained to the good Lord that was just a title, just a stage name, just a persona. And I hope it was, but it's, yeah. All right. Good to have all of you here on the show. Thanks for being a part of today's program. Producer Chad is pushing the buttons and making everything happen today. For all of you, if you'd like to be a part of the program and be a part of the program, me, the podfather of all, feel free to jump into that conversation as well. It is info@jimmylakey.com, info@jimmylakey.com. I'd love to help you build your business, grow your brand, whether you're local, national, Colorado, or California, it doesn't matter. We can help you. Info@jimmylakey.com. Don't forget my golf tournament, our golf tournament, Rivers Promise, coming up September the 5th. Go to riverspromise.org to register and or to donate. And also don't forget, this program here is about to become a podcast. In a matter of moments, it'll be loaded on your favorite podcast platform, iHeart, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Podbean, wherever you listen to fine podcasts, you can listen to this show, audio only. Until we meet again tomorrow morning. Glad we got the memes in today. I did them today. May God bless you. May God bless America. I am Jimmy Lakey. Peace. I'm out.